So the Arizona audit. Let's get stuck in. First off, what the hell does this woman have on her head? This looks like a Lego man's version of a welder's mask. Anyway, the report of the Maricopa County Forensic Election Audit of the 2020 election, released at a public hearing of the Arizona State Senate, chaired by Senate President Karen Fann and Judiciary Committee Chairman Senator Warren Peterson, on Friday identified a number of significant election irregularities discovered during the audit. Now, this is not remotely a surprise for those of us that aren't brain-dead idiots. The statistical probability of Biden actually winning is fucking minuscule, 18 million votes, my ass. Not to mention his brutally pathetic incompetence mixed with his cement-wearing shoes chucked into the ocean approval rating is sinking at breakneck speed, which is only going to add to this theory that there is something very, very wrong with the apparatus. So here's the numbers. Out of 3.4 million votes cast in Arizona in November of 2020, 2.1 million were in Maricopa County, 1.9 million votes came from either mail-ins or drop boxes. That in itself, to me, raises quite a few red flags. So Biden was certified the winner, quote-unquote, by a margin of 10,457 votes, quote-unquote. And so a hand recount was done and showed ever so slightly more votes for Biden, and a leaked draft of the executive summary made its way to the corporate press, which they celebrated because they're a bunch of twats. This focused on the recount, not the results of the actual audit. The results of the audit, however, revealed something very, very different, raising doubts on nearly 50,000 votes cast. More than 4 times the margin of victory, quote-unquote, for the fossilizing presidential cosplayer. So, here is how the audit procedure categorizes and classifies the findings. If a potential error involves more than 10,000 votes, critical, more than 5,000, high, more than 1,500 but less than 5,000, medium, less than 1,500, low. 23,344 mail-in ballots were counted from individuals who no longer even lived at the address to which the mail-in ballot was sent. You might want to ask yourself, how the hell did that ballot then make it to the ballot box? 9,041 more ballots returned by voters than received in the voter history phase. 5,295 voters that potentially voted in multiple counties in the certified results phase. 3,432 more ballots cast than the list of people who showed as having cast a vote. The audit called this group of ballots official results does not match who voted in the certified results phase. 2,592 more duplicates than original ballots in the ballot phase. 2,382 in-person voters who had moved out of Maricopa County in the certified results phase. 2,081 voters moved out of state during 29-day preceding election in the voter history phase. 1,551 votes counted in excess of voters who voted in the certified results phase, and an additional 3,587 votes were in the low-impact category across 14 findings. Is anyone else going to point out that most of these are mail-in ballots? Moving on, a separate report, Pattern Recognition of Early Voting Ballot, EVP, return envelope images for signature presence detection, was prepared by Echo Mail and presented to the panel by its lead investigator, Dr. Shiva Ayadurai. The findings of that report included the following. Maricopa County allowed 9,589 more early vote ballot return envelopes to move forward to the signature verification process than the audit determined were eligible. Of the 1,917,008 votes, the audit determined only 1,907,419 should have moved on to signature verification. 34,448 early vote ballot return envelopes were duplicates submitted by 17,126 individual voters, most of whom submitted 2 ballots, but bizarrely, some of whom submitted either 3 or 4. A third report by cybersecurity firm Cipher Digital Findings were delivered by Ben Cotton. Key findings including Maricopa County failing to perform the following: basic operating system patch management, update antivirus definitions, preserve security logs, establish and monitor host baseline, and establish and monitor network communications baseline. And some other sketchy details involve people who've moved. So according to Arizona's statutory provisions and your vote counting within a 29-day period of the election, to your previously registered address. These statutory provisions and procedures prove significant because the audit revealed that 15,035 mail-in votes in Maricopa County were from voters who had moved prior to the registration deadline. Another 6,591 mail-in votes came from voters who had moved out of Arizona prior to the registration deadline, and 1,718 mail-in votes came from voters who moved within Arizona but out of Maricopa prior to the registration deadline. And so this presents us with three options. 1. Mail-in ballots were delivered to the old address provided to the named voter and the relocation being temporary. This is completely normal. 2. Mail-in ballot was delivered to the person at the old address provided to the named voter who had permanently moved but hadn't updated the address in time for the deadline, but voted an affidavit attesting to the false address of residence. This would be an illegal vote. 3. The ballot delivered to the old address and someone else cast the vote. This would be illegal and also fraudulent. Neither Maricopa County nor the state of Arizona knows how many of these 23,000 plus votes fall within each of these respective scenarios, and that is a problem. Now, considering all of this and the corporate press saying jack shit about this, is there any wonder why America remains so divided? This is not Trump's fault, this is the corporate media's fault. They are the ones to blame for all of this bullshit. You now have clear evidence of voter fraud, many times the margin of victory. And considering a few states have similar issues than this, unless this gets resolved, this isn't going to end well for the United States. I know Michael Malice has said the US is moving towards secession. This division is only going to escalate. The media is not aiding the dissipation of this. They are in fact exacerbating the situation. And this is only one poll, but look at this. Only 1 in 5 Trump and Biden supporters say they share the same core American values. 80% disagree, saying they do not share the same core values. This is not a sustainable model. This is ripe for a secession movement. Because looking at the sheer draconian incompetence and reckless fiscal responsibility of the federal government, this is not going to end well. As said before, the machine will collapse under the bloated weight of its own incompetence, and these kind of irreconcilable positions is only adding to the problem. And that's all for today. Until next time.